Hello, folks. I'm Detroit Miracle. Yes, and indeed. Right now, I am here to have more cool comic book slash film slash story discussion fun. This such topic will be about Tina Turner. Yes, and I will also be comparing Tina Turner as characterized in different platforms and formats such as comic book style. Yes, folks, it seems that it is a popular trend to give great iconic female singers slash soloists their own comic books, their own comic book stories, their own comic book verses. And that is the case with Tina Turner. She was given her own comic book line that illustrated her whole life story of all the goings ons, her trials, tribulations, her triumphs, her tragedies. So it gave a full accounting in the comic book format. It also displayed her immense powers of motivation, inspirational, phenom, sensational, awesome, incredible, astronomical, and much, much more in terms of the scale of fame that she has reached and had reached as a singer, as a songwriter, as an actress, and as an author. It was said that in Tina Turner's live action stage performances, now I'm not mentioning her in comic book format, I'm mentioning her in live action. They said she gave some of the biggest, most explosive, energetic concerts ever out of many other entertainers. You could compare her energies and hype paced show with any other major entertainer that does it in their way. So I'm not going to say no one else did it in a high energized, electrified way, but they were saying Tina Turner was the best, and she packed in full stadiums. So it might be 70,000 people packed in there to see her rock and roll. And she was the queen of rock and roll. So they knew that they wanted to go see the rock and roll queen do it better than anyone else has ever done it before in their entire life. So went there and they packed in and they were watching the queen of rock and roll in the live action. And many gave accountings of her high-paced stage performance, and they said it's electrifying, it's great. She seemed tireless, energetic. She seemed immensely powerful. She didn't show signs of great fatigue. So she stood as an inspiration for fitness and electrified shows, of course, in that particular way. They said she was heavily into fitness. They said her religion was Buddhism because it brought an inner calming and inner peace to her whole tranquility moments, or it added the necessity to provide herself with tranquility in terms of her meditating and getting into that space, that particular place where she could put everything in there and come full circle. So it's about inner peace and removing any type of struggle away from your mindset, because those are damaging energies and they have no place in anyone. So she found a way to battle against hers effectively that way. All right, let me get to power levels of Tina Turner in terms of her comic book characterizations and her live action characterizations. The stuff that they wrote in comic books about Tina Turner chronicled decades of epic successes. It chronicled tens of millions of global fans all over the world appreciating the queen of rock and roll, which is Tina Turner. So in all characterizations of Tina Turner in the comic books and in the live action, it is up to a stellar top tier of a characterization, especially with this great legendary artist called Tina Turner. Okay, let me get to some personal awards that Tina Turner has won in terms of showing her powerful appeal, in terms of being able to persuade judges to give her awards. it is said that she won at least 12 Grammys. Now, if you won at least 12 Grammys, you probably won at least 1,000 other types of awards, because the Grammys is the most difficult award to win. So she aced the Grammys, so I know she won at least 100 other types of awards, based on her winning that many Grammys. If you got that many Grammys, that's like an army, a treasure of Grammys. You can sell that, you can put it in a museum, you can do whatever you want with it, in fact. So as far as awards, she's been awarded many different types of awards that showcased her epic career. She's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at least a couple of times. People don't realize that Tina Turner built at least two different fortunes in the music industry. She built a fortune through the 1960s and 70s, but she had to walk away from everything, and she wanted to keep the namesake. So she was able to regroup, pick up the pieces, and build a huge fortune a second time, and with an even larger following than before. Yeah, because Tina Turner was popular and rich in the 1960s and 70s. And of course, she lost everything and she regained even more. So that showcases her immense powers there in terms of that, much like with many of her other powers, pointing to her hard work, character, strong-willed, of course, and her untiring presence in which doesn't give up. All right, folks, let me know how you feel about this one. Indeed.